So good morning. Well, I had done a video early this morning, a real rush job, where I ran out into the gardens, or what I'm calling the Vicarage Gardens, to show you all what the Vicarage Gardens did or looked like this morning. And I ran around the yard and I showed different plants and whatnot. And I finished it and I really hated it because it was just a rush job. And you know, one of the things that I'm coming to terms with in this artistic reboot is that I have to stop rushing. I said a couple video blogs ago that I had too many things in my life, and some things had to be shut out or gotten rid of in order for me to really enter into my artistry. Well, it's not just that. It's also about an attitude that I have to race at everything and to everything. One of the things that's come to light as Brenda has come home is that she's learned a very different way of living in Europe than we were brought up on. You know, we're brought up here in New England, the land of 24/7, thinking that we always have to be at work and that we always have to rush from one thing to another. And in Europe, she's learned a life of much slower transition, where you can relax and it's built around the relationship rather than around the necessary work. And I guess maybe that's one of the things that I have to learn to do, is just to relax and take some time to enjoy the journey. Maybe that's a big part of the artistic reboot for me, is that I am going to have to learn to actually live the slow part of slow, constant, and intentional. For those of you who know me, slow, constant, intentional is sort of my mantra that God gave me probably a decade ago, that I've been learning slowly to practice. God had said to me, I want you to live the slow, constant, intentional lifestyle of prayer and study, and I want you to live a slow, constant, intentional lifestyle. Well, over the course of the last 10 years, my life has become more constant and definitely more intentional than it was, say, 15 years ago. But the slow part I've never mastered. And so maybe the artistic reboot really has me on a pathway to figure out, how do I do slow better? And maybe it doesn't start with chopping a bunch of things out of my schedule, but with a mindset and a pace I live my life at. Regardless of how much I've got to do, I can live at peace and walk slowly through life, sort of like Jesus did, in spite of all the people gathered around him and all the expectations that are put upon him. He just seems to continually keep a constant slow pace. Jairus comes to him and says, my daughter is dying. And Jesus says, well, let's go. And he walks to Jairus' house, and along the way he stops to help a woman with an issue of blood. Word comes that his friend Lazarus is sick, and Jesus waits 2 whole days before he heads off to Lazarus' house. And by the time he gets to Lazarus' house, Lazarus has been dead for 4 days. And Lazarus' sisters are saying, if only you'd been here sooner. And Jesus said, I'm glad I wasn't here sooner, because now you will see the glory of God. Maybe I have to figure out how to live that mindset more. I don't know. What do you think are the keys to a slow, constant, intentional lifestyle? I would love to hear what you have to say. Have a great day. Bye now.